Welcome to Japan Seikatsu. I'm Ian, and I'd like to speak to you today about the JET program delay. Specifically, I'd like to provide 4 tips to help you get through this difficult period. And please be sure to listen to the very end. The final tip is really the glue that allows all of these to properly work. Without further delay, let's get started. As background, and as many of you know, the JET program departure date has been delayed for a lot of applicants, specifically in the U.S. I know, and also here in Europe. So my sympathies go out to all of you. I know this has been a long process, and I know that a lot of you are at the end of your ropes. But I'm doing this video today as somebody that did the JET program for 3 years, and it allowed me to create a life connected to Japan, a career connected to Japan. So I want to encourage all of you to hang in there just a little bit longer. Remember, you started this journey back in December of 2019. Prior to that was your preparation for the application. So you've come a long way, and I do think we finally have light at the end of the tunnel. Without further ado, I'd like to kick off the 4 suggestions or tips or food for thought that I have for you today. And I've taken notes, so please excuse me while I look down. First, some of the comments I've seen and questions is about, should I resign? My departure has been pushed back once again. I don't know exactly when it will happen. I've exhausted from being in limbo. Again, I completely sympathize with you. My advice in general is, unless you have a job to jump to, I would hold off resigning for a few reasons. First, this is a very difficult recession, and you have a guaranteed job with the JET organization, which will honor its commitment, in my view, to eventually get you to Japan. So you've got a strong employer that is going to be able to provide you with a salary regardless of where the global economy is this year or next year. But also it's jumping to another job. You'll make great friends. You'll have colleagues, of course. However, the JET program really creates friends for life, more than just colleagues. You're on the other end of the world together, going through a very unique experience, and that really ties you together. I was on the start of the JET program over 10 years ago, and I'm still great friends with many of my colleagues, other JETs, so I can't recommend that enough. So while I understand the difficulty, when I came out of school, I had student loans, certainly did not face a JET situation as difficult as this, but I would urge you just to hold on just a little bit longer. I really do think spring is just around the corner. So this leads into tip number 2, which is, let's use this time productively, specifically learning Japanese. When you're teaching English in Japan, many of you will be quite busy. And of course, you'll be learning Japanese, but why not get that process accelerated now? I've got some specific tips on how you can study Japanese. For me, and I've shared this in prior videos, the Genki series of books provides an excellent foundation. I have also found that prepping for the JLPT, even if you can't take it, prepping for it, go to their website, find what level you're currently at, JLPT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can do that through tests on the JLPT website. I'll provide a link below, and then you can source practice books. You can study the kanji that you need for the specific level that you're studying towards. Another idea is an online teacher, especially if you have time now. It's a great time to get some online instruction to further your Japanese studies. YouTube and Netflix are also wonderful resources, specifically YouTube and Netflix. If you enjoy Japanese food, maybe this is a time to to learn how to cook some Japanese food while also learning the language. On Netflix, there's a great show called Midnight Diner where you can get lots of practice listening to Japanese, real Japanese, as it's used in the everyday setting, but you also can see the dishes that they make during the show. It's quite an interesting show. From the YouTube perspective, there's a great show, I'll provide a link to it, called Kimono Mom, where she makes great dishes of Japanese food and uses English and Japanese. So it's a great way to learn both cooking, but also practice some of your Japanese in a fun and exciting way, which is the key to learning Japanese. You need to make it fun. Otherwise, you'll never get through all the hours required to learn Japanese. This brings me to the third tip, which is something I've mentioned in videos before, but is so important, which is refresh your English. All of us that are native speakers often just go off of what sounds natural. That's not always correct grammar. There's which you will find, but you will also get a lot of questions when you're in Japan. Why is it that way? Or why is this correct? And you really need the kind of foundation that we receive in lower school and middle school to properly explain that. I found a very nice YouTube channel. It's called JamesESL English Lessons. He's got dozens of videos with excellent explanations to the exact type of questions that you're likely to get while on the JET program. I again will provide a link down below. Please do check out that resource. Next, number 4 is to stay motivated and stay connected to Japan. I live here now in the UK. We have had lockdown after lockdown. So myself, I have my in-laws in Japan. I work for a Japanese headquartered company. I usually get out to Japan for work. I have half of my family in the United States. And just like all of you, my life has been disrupted. I've been unable to travel, and I, of course, miss the friends and family in both of those places. I've found one great way to stay connected to Japan during this time. 2 specific YouTube channels that I will provide links down below. The first one being Paolo from Tokyo, and the second one, Only in Japan Go by John Daub. It's excellent because he takes you a few times a week, it seems, on a live feed through different parts of Japan. So it's a great way to feel like you're in Japan, you're traveling in Japan without actually being there. And it also feeds into the language learning aspect, the cultural learning aspect. But the most important part of this tip, stay connected and motivated, is stay motivated. I know I need to eat broccoli more often. I need to eat my veggies. I need to go running. But if I don't have a dream that excites me, that motivates me, that pulls me through to do all of the healthy stuff I need to do, I'll never do those things. So yes, we all need to study Japanese more, and we should all refresh our English grammar. But most importantly, you need to be motivated. So what excites you about Japan? Really get that in your mind and stay connected to it. And that motivation will help pull you through as you're studying Japanese, as you're preparing to be a better JET. There's a great quote from Zig Ziglar. I'd love to share. It says, "People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily." So please treat motivation like you do showering. Do it daily. We always need to be motivated. And if you can find what excites you about your particular Japan journey, and keep finding ways to remind yourself of that, be it music, be it YouTube channels, be it books, be it talking with friends, being it sharing with the community, that motivation will help pull you through, pull all of us through this very difficult period that we're going through. And I wish all of you the best of luck in this final push to get across to Japan. As always, we want to build this community up as big as possible. Please be sure to hit that like button and also to subscribe if you haven't. I plan to roll out a lot of new content in the new year. Thank you for your time. I'm thinking of all of you. Take care.